Good morning, Ocean Pines. Welcome to our 2026 Candidates Forum. My name's Steve Ransdell. I'm the chairman of the Elections Committee. I'd like to introduce the rest of my committee. Tom McElroy, and just beside him, Rob Kiesling, Cheryl Jacobs, and Marlene Ott. So we welcome you all. I want to go over the format for the forum so everybody understands what's going on. We begin with candidate opening remarks. And at the conclusion of that, we will proceed to questions. The first round of questions will come from the Elections Committee. We have a list of questions. Each candidate will draw a number, so they randomly get a question from our list. At the conclusion of that round, we will have 2 rounds of questions submitted from the community. Those questions have been curated to make sure they apply to the election format. And those that did not, we recommend they be referred to info@Ocean Pines or to the board at Ocean Pines because they weren't suitable for someone who doesn't have the knowledge of what the board knows. So they were more directed at information. At the conclusion of those 2 rounds, we will have a 4th round in which each candidate is allowed to ask one other candidate a question. And then we conclude with closing remarks. Candidates, any questions about how we proceed? All right. Then we will do everything in the randomly selected ballot order, starting with Ms. Amy Peck.
If I might initially, when each of you are answering a question, there'll come a time when this fancy sign will be held up to let you know that you have 30 seconds left. Yes. Okay. All right.
Good morning, Amy Peck, the challenger again, asking for your vote. My platform hasn't changed, and the board's actions are why. I ran on fiscal responsibility, needs over wants, and no pet projects. Let's not waste money on things like tiki bar extensions, dedicated boardrooms, and electronic signs. I certainly spoke out against the proposal of boat slips at the golf course. I believe good decision-making requires more voices. What did this board do? They eliminated committees, sidelining dedicated volunteers, their expertise, and their voices. I say bring back committees. I've always said good leadership listens. We still don't have surveys. There's still no public hybrid comments. And if you attend the meetings, you're going to get a reminder that public comments are not a question and answer period. And instead of listening to you, you might feel like they're watching the time clock, telling you your 5 minutes is up. I certainly believe in transparency and accountability, but board packets often don't come out until 2 or 3 days before the meeting. And if you attend the meetings, you're going to hear very little, sometimes no discussion, very little, sometimes no questions, and sometimes on very important issues, they vote by email with no follow-up discussion. I say enough is enough, and that's why I'm running. I believe in fiscal responsibility, leadership that listens and includes. And I want to represent everyone, whether you are a full or a part-time resident, whether you use the amenities or not, if you're a young family that sometimes feels ignored in Ocean Pines, if you're an older person on a fixed income, or if you're just worried about how your HOA dollars are being spent or not being spent, I want to represent you. I'm running because we need leadership that listens, includes, and practices fiscal responsibility. Now, if elected, the votes still might be 6-1, like they were before we lost our one independent member, Steve Jacobs. But I promise you, there will be discussion. I will ask questions. I will answer your questions. I will make decisions based on data, and you will have at least one director sitting at the table who's listening to you. That's what I'm about. leadership that listens. So I want to thank you for being here today and listening to me. I hope today that I earn a vote for me, Amy Pack. Thank you.
Thank you, Amy. John?
Good morning. John Latham, I'll be here asking for your support as well. I currently serve as the president of the Ocean Pines Association and have been a homeowner here since 2013 and a full-time resident since 2021. I'm originally from Pasadena, Maryland. I currently volunteer for many organizations for the last 20 plus years, and I would be honored to continue serving this great community. Personally, I've been married for 29 years. My bride is here, and we'll have 29-year anniversary tomorrow on Flag Day. Professionally, I'm a procurement executive with Buyer's Edge Platform and also serve as the board president of the Marina Village Condominium Association here in Ocean Pines. We're the pink condos right next to the yacht club. If re-elected, I would continue using my board experience and business background in leadership, communication, and financial management to make sound decisions for our community. My priorities remain responsible budgeting and cost control, community beautification, safety and security, which is always at the top of the list here in this community, roads infrastructure, and continuing to fund our reserve projects and to continue to work our strategic plan that we have here in the community, which again includes bulkheads, roads, infrastructure, pretty much everything that we maintain here, all the assets here in this community. And lastly, protecting and increasing the home value of our community. I proudly served in the Marine Corps and earned both a bachelor and a master's degree in business management from the University of Maryland. I respectfully ask for your support so I may continue serving this great community. In addition, I serve on the Worcester County Veterans Memorial at Ocean Pines here, which is very, very proud and a great organization to support. In addition to that, I serve as a board member for the Maryland Legislative Action Committee for the Community Association Institute, which really governs law for the state of Maryland as it relates to associations, homeowners associations, boards of directors. So I typically have a pretty good early look at any legislation that would affect our community. Again, I respectfully ask for your support and would love to serve this community for another 3 years. Thank you very much.
Thank you, John. Next up, Mr. Bill Pickett. Bill, you have the podium.
Thank you. Good morning. Thank you for the opportunity to introduce myself. I am Bill Pickett. After a great deal of research and looking in Delmarva for a place to live, in 2004, my wife and I settled in Ocean Pines. We like the amenities, the access to water, particularly water. In our 20 years with some really good neighbors, we developed a really strong personal connection to the place with just simple things like walking through the community and meeting people and people waving. It's a really great place. And because of that, I just felt the need to try to give a little more back. I have a deep appreciation for the values, the amenities, and the natural settings that define Ocean Pines, and a desire to preserve the character and long-term stability of the place. I have 40 years of leadership experience in operations, technology, organizational management. 26 years of that was as a CIO, Director of Technology in private schools. I have extensive experience in long-term planning, budgeting, infrastructure modernization, and organizational processes. I have 20 years in the U.S. Coast Guard. 9 of that was enlisted, doing search and rescue, and 20 years running IT, where I learned discipline, accountability, leadership, and a steady approach to responsibility. All of these organizations are lean. They're public serving, private, lean organizations I like to work at. My education, I have an MBA from University of Baltimore, a BS in Information Systems Management, and a second master's certificate in telecommunications. As for governance, I worked at the Maryland Education Enterprise Consortium Board on the board of directors, where we let contracts for all of the public 4-year higher and lower and private institutions. And I also worked at the Association of Independent Maryland Schools on the technology committee, where we did conferences. My approach to governance, I rely on strategic planning, data-driven decision-making, and consistent processes. I ground my decisions in facts, not short-term pressure. I evaluate trade-offs objectively to support the community as a whole. I would like to reconstruct the Ocean Pines vision, mission, and strategic plan and use it as a guiding framework to go forward. I want to emphasize safety, which is important to this place, financial stability, and responsible stewardship of the community assets. Opportunity to contribute to this. I want an opportunity to contribute to strengthen the communications, the stewardship, and the alignment across planning and decision-making, develop and support transparent.
And next, Pat Leonard.
Good morning. My name is Patrick Leonard. I have been a homeowner here since 2012, a full-time resident since 2021, and absolutely love Ocean Pines. I am a current member of the board of directors. I was appointed this past March. I previously served on the elections committee. It is my distinct honor to be here today for this forum. I was born and raised in Youngstown, Ohio, eldest of 6 to Chuck and Mary Pat Leonard, who instilled in me the values of fairness and hard work. I have a bachelor's degree in electrical engineering from Catholic University and a master's degree in systems engineering from Johns Hopkins. I have more than 44 years of engineering and leadership experience in the defense and space industry, as well as with several other organizations. I have been active in the Pine Tones Chorus, the Ocean Pines Platform Tennis Association, and Kiwanis. I am happily married to my wife, Becky, since 2009 and am a proud parent and grandparent. Some things I love about Ocean Pines: the personal relationships that I have developed, the availability of a wide variety of first-class amenities, the safety and peace of mind afforded by an organic police and fire departments, along with a community that looks out for each other, proudly maintaining my own property. To paraphrase a line from one of my favorite movies, Field of Dreams, is this heaven? No, it's Ocean Pines. Ocean Pines is what it is today because of the collaborative efforts of a team consisting of the board of directors, operations, and you, the community, not the efforts of one individual. With your vote, I can bring my experience to that team to help maintain our progress. I've been part of successful teams over my life and my career. Sometimes that means taking the lead. Sometimes that means rolling up your sleeves and doing the hard work. I'm not afraid to do either, but it always involves trust. I don't strive for individual accolades. I derive satisfaction when my team or those who I mentor achieve success. A key to success of maintaining our progress is doing so with an open mind. Although it may come across this way, the board does not have all the answers, nor does operations. We need input from the community to help us identify gaps and opportunities and hold the leadership accountable. But we need to do that in a responsible and effective way. Effective communications is one of our biggest challenges. We have never had as many communication tools at our disposal. We just need to make use of them and do so responsibly. A few thoughts. Use info@oceanpines.org rather than posts on social media. Have constructive dialogue with your directors. Make adjustments to the OP website to provide easier access to important forms and documents. Regularly share progress on projects and actions being addressed by the board and operations. We think we're doing that, but based on feedback, perhaps we could do better. Let's fix that. I could go on, but I'm about out of time. Did I mention that I love Ocean Pines? Thank you.
Okay, we're going to proceed to the questions from the Elections Committee. In this bag, I have all the questions. When you pick, I'd ask you to please tell us which number question you picked. Rob will read the question for everyone attending here and on the internet. And you can keep the piece of paper as a reminder about what you're answering. a souvenir. The number, something like that.
I have number 3.
Number 3. What can the OP board do to enhance the voice or the position of Ocean Pines in Worcester County decisions that impact the community?
Oh, that's a good question. Many of you who know me know I follow outside issues very closely in Ocean Pines because they do impact us. And I've been very disappointed that we have not had more town halls about these important issues, whether it be wind farms, which the board decided on its own to vote to join a lawsuit without a town hall, whether it be the sports facility, the Global Next public landing station. We certainly had trouble with wastewater. There's issues regarding development, Route 90 expansion, which I've been following, what they're going to do about 589, when is our bridge going to be replaced? All of these impact Ocean Pines. And I think the best way to get the message out is to get input. Again, I'm going to say this many times today. I'm about leadership that listens. You cannot listen to your homeowners if you don't give them the tools. Tools are committees, tools are town halls, tools are discussion at board meetings, tools are enough notice about these issues. Let's not have the board packet come out 2 days ahead of time. Tools are meetings that meet the public's needs. Maybe today is not the best time for this forum. So I'm about leadership that listens. We have a lot of tools at our disposal. Let's use them. But meeting in person, especially with public hybrid comments, is something that is going to impact all of Ocean Pines, being able to have the input, especially our part-timers. Let them have a voice too. Thank you.
By way of apology, your slip only had a number on it. The slip with the questions on it comes in the next round. Okay, so I gave you bad information.
I don't know if that's a 6 or a 9.
That is a 9.
Yeah, well, let me make that decision.
It can't be a 9 because we only have 8 questions. It's a 6.
6.
Got you there, John.
I mean, it's set up. Number
Question 6.
I guess
All
it
right.
is.
Mr. Latham, what characteristics of your personality would be a detriment to you being elected to the board?
Making quick decisions. Where we have a lot of projects that are going on. We try to do the best we can as a current board in making decisions collaboratively, which apparently some don't agree with, and we can certainly have our own opinions. Making the decisions, meetings that we have, there are conversations that occur oftentimes during the course of the week or the months leading up to decisions. I kind of liken it to you would never show up to your job unprepared for a meeting. So what this board is doing, and what I encourage as the president and past secretary of this board of directors, is to make sure that we are making decisions and kind of moving them along, not leaving them just sit. It's either we got to make the decision or we move on. So what I hear occasionally is that we don't have conversations and no one asks any questions. That's about the furthest thing from the truth as it could be. And I see you shaking your head, Donna, but you're incorrect. It's just factually incorrect. So making decisions, moving forward, and planning are things that this board is doing, continues to do, and I would love to continue doing on behalf of this organization. Thank you.
I have four.
I'm sorry, it was four? Number four?
Oh, it's big enough.
All right, Mr. Pickett.
Yes, sir.
What ideas or improvements can you propose to the community, and what steps would you take to accomplish them?
That is a good question. Can you repeat it?
Yes, I think that was one of my questions, so yes.
Pretty complicated.
What ideas or improvements can you propose for the community, and what steps would you take to accomplish them?
So it starts with that I think this is a good place and we have a lot of good things and we're trying to move them forward. The things that I would propose in looking at the website and looking at the documentation and preparing for today, I saw a lot of patchy pieces of good things. I saw a strategic plan, a full strategic plan, but it was owned by the GM. I saw a mission statement and a vision statement on our website that wasn't the same as the one in the GM's website. It was close, but it wasn't quite right. I saw a lot of good work that was done by a strategic planning committee in 2022. And for example, one of the ideas was that ditches were very important to us. That's an important part of it. Almost everybody has one. We have drainage. I live on Pinehurst. If we get heavy rain and Bainbridge Park drains a lot, I flood on both sides of my street. So ditches are important, but you can see in the last few years where they've stopped pulling the leaves from the ditch. They've stopped mowing the ditch. They've stopped. The yard's been closed since May, and I've asked, but I've never heard why. When is it going to reopen? At the last board meeting, they said that they hadn't started it in 2018, so they probably aren't going to open it again. But if all these threads were put together and connected, then if we closed the ditches, we should tell people why and where did the money go. So that's the things we can do. Very organized things. Thank you.
Question one. Recently, the board of directors voted to eliminate all of the advisory committees except those mandated in the bylaws. Two parts. How did you vote on that proposal, and why did you vote that way? If given a chance to revisit, would you vote the same?
Okay. I didn't vote on that because it happened before my tenure on the board. I've only been there since March. It's a tough issue. I live with someone who was on one of those committees, and I experienced some of her frustrations with that process. I'm not sure that those committees were the best way to organize our community to make things happen. We're moving more toward a work group or task force model that has more focused objectives, has defined lifetimes, and just like any work group that I've been part of in my work life, if you have a well-defined beginning and end, I think you're much more successful as opposed to be out there spinning your wheels trying to find things to do. So I suspect that I would have voted to eliminate those advisory committees. I think the task force model is is the way to go. As we execute those and we study their effectiveness, we can adjust as appropriate. But I feel like that's a much more effective model to follow. Thank you. We're supposed to shut this off we're supposed to shut this off as we walk away. Everybody's.
Okay, we will now proceed to 2 rounds of questions selected at random. These are questions submitted by the community.
I have number 1.
All right, Mrs. Peck, recently, the Ocean Pines Board voted to oppose the offshore wind turbines without consulting residents. How would you have voted on that and why? And why do you think the residents were not given a chance to express opinions on that matter?
As I recall, this happened at the November meeting. There was 1 abstention, and that was our independent director, Steve Jacobs. And I also would have abstained. And here's why. This is not an environmental issue. This isn't whether you're for or against the wind turbines. I personally was against them because the plan changed. They were going to be closer inshore. But this was an example where the board acted, the majority, 6-0, to take an action without consulting membership. We did not have a voice in that. We had 2 days' notice in the board packet that the board was going to do this. It was a very sparsely attended meeting, even though Mayor Rick Meehan was here to give information. That's not how you conduct business. And we have to decide what issues is Ocean Pines, outside of Ocean Pines, going to be involved in. Are we going to be involved in the sports facility? Are we going to be involved in the global landing project? Are we going to be involved in Route 90 expansion? If we are going to be involved, we need to make sure that you all have a voice. Leadership needs to listen. So I would definitely abstain on any issue that membership does not have a chance to weigh in. We need a discussion. We need the ability for some of our membership to ask the questions like this person did, and that was not given. Thank you.
Number 20?
Number 20.
Number 20. Mr. Latham, would you support requiring a new buyer and or builder to acknowledge having read and accepted the existing Ocean Pines policy regarding tree removal?
Yes, I would. I think today we have, there's a lot of, I think, misinformation floating around as far as how we handle permits, whether, what part is Ocean Pines, what part is Worcester County. I think, Bill, there's, at least since COVID occurred, it seemed like there's been more probably building in Ocean Pines than there has been in a number of years. So I would support a review of how we handle that today. Again, how we interact, how the contractor, the owner interacts with Ocean Pines, what they need required, and what is required by Worcester County. Thank you.
Number 3.
designated pedestrian lane, Ocean Park, bike and pedestrian. My bad. Sorry about that. Let's try again. Would you support funding for a designated bike and pedestrian lane for Ocean Parkway as part of Worcester County's effort to improve bike and pedestrian safety?
That's a tough question. One of the first considerations for me is the fact that the roads are narrow and they're tight and the homes are close. So although I walk a part of Ocean Parkway almost every day, and there's enough space for me to walk, there's not enough space for me to walk and a car to come by. There's not enough space if the person driving the car is on their phone. Like I can understand the need for this, but the people that live on Ocean Parkway are gonna lose a lot of space, and they're gonna have to redo the ditches and change the environment of the neighborhood. So to ask me if I support it, honestly, my answer is I'd have to consider it some. It's a good idea, but it would change our character a bit, and it would make, I would tend to be disinclined to support it, to be honest. I'd rather lower the speed limits if that's what it took. That's my answer. Less than 3 minutes.
Mr. Leonard, how will you handle disappointment if fellow board members do not accept your ideas?
I would cry myself to sleep every night. No, that's a great question. And I think it relates to thoughts I've had. I'm not planning to address directly, but decisions are made by consensus a lot of times because there are varied opinions. When you have 7 board members, you probably have at least 8 opinions on a topic. As long as there's the opportunity for open discussion and to have your voice heard, and then the decision is made against your position, you just have to accept it. And you accept it with grace. So it's part of life. I've dealt with it for 44 years in my professional career and in organizations that I've been in. And you just have to suck it up and move on because tomorrow's another day and it's not the end of the world. Thank you.
I have question 9.
Mrs. Pettit, would you support reducing spending of members' dollars? And in what areas would you reduce?
Well, if you know me, you know my answer is going to be yes. I've been very vocal against pet projects. I think Ocean Pines is facing a challenging period. If you are following your economics at home, you see prices are going up. We just, as an association, got hit with a giant water bill that has affected both amenity pricing and our HOA dollars. Certainly, money needs to be focused on needs, not wants. And number 1, that means first responders. And we have some challenges there. If you've been following Ocean Pines politics, you know we're down to 8 officers. And the GM is proposing a salary study so we can attract more officers. That's going to cost us more money, but that's money well spent. We have trouble getting some volunteers for our EMS and first responders. We're building a new fire station that was needed. That is money well spent. That's certainly not a pet project. But recently, this board has spent some money without our input. We heard about the Tiki Bar kitchen. It was supposed to be $125,000 without discussion. Certainly without discussion that we heard It was approved unanimously by email vote. Was that an expense we actually need? I don't know. We didn't really have a chance to have input on that. I don't know if that's a good price. That's an example of where we need discussion. So I think this is time to trim the fat. I think this is time to look long-term, not spend money on short-term problems, and look at the legacy and the importance of the projects we are spending money on. It's our money. Thank you.
Number 5.
Mr. Layden, would you support installing standalone solar-powered active speed signs along Ocean Parkway where speeding is an issue?
Solar power? I quite honestly, I don't know enough about how it would work. I would support evaluating and having a conversation about it. I'm not familiar with it. I know the Parkway, especially this time of year, is with more traffic. There's more kids on bikes. There's more walkers. There's more cars. And again, Amy had mentioned that we're down to our officers are down to 8 or 9 or so. So I would certainly evaluate it and love to learn more about how it would work, how it would impact our community, what the cost would be. But yeah, my question would be, we could evaluate it and should evaluate it. Thank you.
Six or an 8.
Well, it can't be 8 because we've already had 8. So
I'm at like 18 or 16.
Oh.
It's 18.
it's 18.
18.
Okay. All right, Mr. Pickett. Would you support resurrecting the prior advisory committee system with well thought out guidelines and active participation from the OP Board of Directors?
That's a very good question. I would. And the answer is upfront, yes, I would. The second part is with caveat. As I said before, we have an incomplete strategic plan, I think, in many ways. And I'm not trying to be insulting to anybody who's done anything in it, but I think there's some work that can be done. The board has some governance responsibilities with vision and mission and strategic goals. And I think those should be established. And if we establish strategic goals, then probably having some good some good advisory committees to help. For example, there's a lot of issues that seem to be going on, I'm hearing today, about environment. We could have a standing committee about environment. The strategic planning committee was a very good committee. It put out a lot of good work, which feeds into the strategic plan. So I think that would help. There's a lot of experts. I'm not an expert in IT, but I'm really good at IT. I'm not really good at something else. So if somebody wants to tell me about construction, I think I need to hear that from somebody else other than me. So working together as a group, having some smaller committees that can feed up, I think is very beneficial to the community. I think that helps answer some of the questions. I think it solves some of our problems. And I'll leave some of the people thinking they don't get heard. So thank you.
Mr. Leonard, do you feel that homeowner input / feedback to the board is necessary? And if so, without the advisory boards or survey previously conducted by the defunct Strategic Advisory Committee, how do you plan to receive input from homeowners?
I absolutely think we need input from homeowners. info@oceanpines.org is a fantastic place to address those issues. I think reaching out to your board members and as I've mentioned before, having constructive discussions with them. I think those are two valuable ways. Even though in the current model for the board meetings, showing up at the board meeting and using your 5 minutes to air your concerns. I'm not sitting there trying to figure out if they've used all their 5 minutes. I'm in the few board meetings I've attended. I enjoy having those folks here and pointing out things that maybe are in my blind spot or represent gaps. So while we don't have discussion there in real time, those are inputs that, at least from my perspective, are taken seriously. And I usually write notes and will, at the appropriate time, carry those forward. So I absolutely think the community needs a voice, and I think we've got mechanisms in place. We should look for other ways that might be more effective or as effective, but I think we've got some things working for us and we should utilize them. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, candidates. We're now going to proceed to round 4, where you get to ask any one of the other candidates a question. Same timing rules apply. Ms. Peck?
I was going to ask Elaine, but she's not here, so I'm going to ask our president, John Latham. After a $30,000 volunteer dinner, you eliminated the majority of the committees with the false reasoning that they were unproductive, misaligned with board priorities, and not needed because we have staff. Now we have 2 new work groups that do not operate under Maryland HOA Law 11B. How did eliminating the committees, that expertise, make Ocean Pines a better place?
Where's Elaine when you need her? No, I believe it's been mentioned here. The process that we have going forward, utilizing work groups very specific to projects that the general manager's working on or the board of directors is the right way. Times have changed. We have leadership across this business that run aquatics, public works, marketing, all of the areas, and we should utilize the community in those task groups. Again, it's when those committees were created many years ago, there were not leaders in those and experts in these areas of business that we have today. Our general manager has built an outstanding leadership team, and we have awesome leadership in each and every part of our business. We will utilize task groups as needed. As it was explained, they'll have a very specific task, a start and end date, and we're not sending them down a road where they're sitting out trying to figure out whether, what should they be working on next. We have a strategic plan. We have an annual budget plan, and each one of those are used, and each one of the department leaders come in and talk to the board, general manager, and we have meaningful conversation about that. And that is kind of where we are today. That is the direction that we are looking. Thank you. I'm all good.
To let you off the hook, I'll ask Pat. So I don't know if you reviewed the documentation on strategic planning, how the organization is set up. I I know it sounds a little repetitive and a little minor, but something like ditches, which is something that's important to the place. How over the last few years, it seems like we've stepped away from maintaining ditches in great ways by cutting back on the mowing and the rate to taking of the leaves. And then the leaf drop off has been closed this year because of the storm, but it's still closed. There's no leaves. I've gone by. I've written you and asked you about it. There's no timeline to get it open. There's an open statement at the last board meeting about the May drop off was started 2018. What? Oh, so given all that, I mean, how do you see the organization going forward and addressing things in a very succinct and uniform way, where if the leaf pickup is dropped off, where does the money go? What happened to the task, and how the ditch is going to be maintained? Something like that in general.
Obviously, a very hot topic. So my first point is, and it's clearly stated in it's either in the DRs or one of our documents. Homeowners are responsible for their ditches. They're responsible for maintaining the easement areas in the ditches. It's clear. It's clear. And personally, I take that to heart and I take pride in that. The whole issue of flooding that we've experienced because leaves back up in the drain pipes. Well, if you take a couple of minutes and clean out those leaves, you're not going to flood your yard. So help yourself out. When I first moved here, we did see that they did occasionally mow the ditches. Well, they mowed maybe the first 5 or 6 feet of the ditches. They didn't mow the entire ditch. So, and it was not happening frequently. And it's not part of our bylaws. It was a courtesy provided by Ocean Pines, and it's expensive. And it takes resources away from other beautification and maintenance activities. As far as leaf removal, my understanding is we had a leaf vacuum truck at one point and used it and thought that would be helpful to the community. And perhaps it was, but again, it's a lot of resources, maybe not spent properly. So my position, radical though it may be, is take pride in your property and take care of it yourself. And if you can't manage it, there's reasonably priced resources out there that can take care of it for you. Thank you. Amy, I'm going to pick on you, but not really pick on you. I think it's a decent question. So if elected, you would be coming on to a board with 4 established members and with along with possibly as many as 2 returning incumbents. Describe to us how you would go about integrating yourself onto that team to help ensure that it functions as an effective body.
Well, there's a distinction between collaboration and rubber stamping. Collaboration is working together, being respectful, hearing the data, everyone's viewpoint, and making a decision. I'm certainly able to do that. With my vast knowledge of Ocean Pines and how closely I've been following the issue all these years, I think I would have a lot of meaningful conversation, meaningful information about what worked in the past and what didn't work, that institutional knowledge that is so important on the board. And I think that one of my strengths is doing the research and making data-based decisions. And that is when you make the best decision. I believe in homeowners focused decision-making. What is going to benefit the homeowners, the majority of the people here in Ocean Pines, and what is going to be a sustaining decision. When you have a board that is constantly voting 7-0 or 6-1, that doesn't necessarily mean you have an effective board. When you're operating in an echo chamber and you're eliminating outside voices, is that really what makes the best decisions? I don't believe so. I believe that the 7 board members are qualified, but they are not an expert in everything. So you need to hear from the community. One of our best features here in Ocean Pines is the vast amount of expertise that we have. When we talked about boat slips at the golf course, we found out we had 2 sea captains that live here in Ocean Pines. It's important to hear from everyone. So I believe that I would be a welcome member on the board of directors. Thank you.
For the closing statements. We'll now proceed to, first of all, thank you candidates for your carefully considered answers. I'm sure the community has gained a little bit of insight. We'll now proceed to the closing statements. Each candidate will have 3 minutes to make a closing statement, beginning with Ms. Peck.
Amy Peck, I'm running again because I care that much about Ocean Pines and its residents. I'm asking for your vote because I want you to have a real seat at the table. Many of you here today have been paying attention. You see what is happening. Committees eliminated, major decisions made with little discussion that we hear, and unanimous votes that don't reflect the wide range of views in this community. You see how the money's being spent and how it's not being spent. You see the trend and you want a voice. I have what it takes to do this job well on day one. I certainly have stayed engaged, informed, and involved. I work hard to keep the homeowners aware of what is happening because you deserve to know that. You deserve a voice. My background, preparation, and long-standing commitment to Ocean Pines means I can immediately step in and work for you. And I want to represent all of you because Ocean Pines is special and protecting the legacy matters. I believe in fiscal responsibility, transparency, and leadership that listens. I believe in asking the questions, doing the research, and making decisions based on facts and community priorities, not personal preference. Being a challenger is an uphill battle. If you're one of the almost 1,500 people who voted for me last time, or if you're a new supporter, thank you. Please get 2/3 of the community who didn't vote to vote. If you are unsure and you still have questions for me, reach out. My email is peck4pines@comcast.net, and I certainly welcome that conversation. It's important to vote. It matters. Electing me probably is not going to change the board majority, but it's going to give you a voice. You're going to have someone on that board who's listening to you. You're going to have someone who's asking the questions and someone who's thinking deeply before they make these decisions. So, again, I hope I earned your support today. I'm asking for your vote. Please vote Amy Peck, and let's not just wait and see what happens next year. Thank you.
Thank you. One thing that Amy and I will agree on is that we do need more people to vote. It is kind of tragic that we have a third or so of our community that votes. So we absolutely agree on that part. Again, I'm here before you to ask for your support for another 3-year term. I thoroughly enjoy working in our community, working for our community. We've made significant investments when we talk about the future of the beach club, the yacht club, and they are long-term investments that are going to be here many, many years to come. to service our community. I enjoy talking. I get lots of phone calls, emails. It doesn't matter whether you're at Food Lion or one of our amenities. Lots of conversation for people. I truly believe that sometimes Ocean Pines gets a bad rap as far as the pine whiners or whatever. I truly believe it's like Ivory soap. 99.4% of the people here are they love it. And I always say there's something for everyone. You could come to Ocean Pines. You can be as involved or not as involved as you want to be. You can join the amenities. You could boat. You could golf. You could do whatever you want to do. And some may just want to, hey, this is my weekend house. I'm going to come here. I'm going to chill. I don't want to be involved in anything. And that's certainly your prerogative. But I believe the vast majority of the people in this community absolutely love the place, and handful of folks that bring information to us. I've been to many homeowners' houses and met with them, had conversations with them, and again, anywhere else. But this is truly a great community, and I would love to continue to ask for your support to vote for me again, to allow me to help service this wonderful community. Thank you very much. Thank you to all of the candidates here today, and thank the election committee for all of the work that you do. Thanks.
Thank you again for being here today. As we look toward the future of Ocean Pines, I believe we have a real opportunity to strengthen our community by focusing on fundamentals, communications, consistency, and long-range stewardship. These are not abstract ideas. They are practical tools that directly affect how residents experience day-to-day life in Ocean Pines. Many of the concerns raised by residents, whether about ARC processes, maintenance expectations, or changes in service, stem from communication challenges that are absolutely addressable. When information is not organized clearly, when decisions are not explained, when updates arrive too late, frustration grows. But when communication is timely, accessible, transparent, it builds trust and helps residents understand how decisions fit into the broader direction of the association. I will work to ensure the information is shared in a way that is easy to follow and easy to find, so residents feel informed rather than surprised. We also need to protect and maintain the value of our community. Ocean Pines is known for its safety, its small town feel, and its strong sense of community. Preserving those qualities require responsible management of our infrastructure and amenities. When changes occur without clear explanation, whether it's ditch maintenance, facility access, or service levels, residents understandably feel uncertain. We can do better. I will advocate for processes that are consistent, predictable, and aligned with long-term planning so that decisions are not only made well, but communicated well. Responsible stewardship is another essential priority that means funding renewal and replacement wisely, preserving what we have and planning for our future needs, not just reacting to immediate concerns. It means ensuring fair accessibility to all property owners, full-time and part-time alike. It means granting decisions in fact, data, and long-term implications rather than short-term pressure. Ocean Pines has a strong foundation and thoughtful stewardship, and with thoughtful stewardship, we can ensure that our amenities, infrastructure, and financial stability remain strong for years to come. If elected, my focus will remain on clear communication, consistent processes, and long-range stewardship of community assets. I am committed to working collaboratively, tough word, listening carefully, and supporting the planning framework that helps residents see how decisions connect to broader goals. My goal is simple: to ensure that Ocean Pines remains a well-managed, forward-looking community that we are all proud to call home. Thank you for your time, and thank you for your support.
I hope you've gotten to know a little bit about me today. For my friends who already know me, I trust nothing I've said here surprised you, at least I hope. I'd like to thank all of you for your support and encouragement. I'm a pretty simple, straightforward person. What you see is what you get. I've never been great at self-promotion, and I don't expect that to change today. Some politician, huh? So as I mentioned in my opening remarks, my successes have come as part of a team, and that's how we will succeed going forward. An example of this ties to something I mentioned in the opening remarks regarding the Ocean Pines webpage. While that site offers all of the documents and forms that we use to run this operation, we observed that they're not as easy to find as they should be. So we brainstormed a few ideas, worked with operations, and now a solution is in the works. It may not seem like a big deal, but it represents a process that is effective. Kudos to this team for that effort. Some more of my favorite things about Ocean Pines. The results of the investments in infrastructure that we've made over the past several years. Low-cost annual dues. Access to so many small businesses, places like My Backyard, Graceful Sourdough, Pines Cafe, Popsy's Ice Cream, and Casita Linda are among our favorites. Who doesn't appreciate the convenience of the True Value hardware store when you need a bunch of lawn bags? These businesses aren't here by accident. They recognize that Ocean Pines is a great place to do business. I want to be part of the team that continues to drive successes like these into the future. I want to hear what you have to say. I want to take on challenging problems and collaboratively drive for solutions. I have a proven track record. Vote for me and I'll do my best to keep Ocean Pines the best. In closing, I'd like to draw on possibly my only real talent where I come close to promoting myself, and that's music. Some of you know that I love to sing. I think I'm pretty good, and at least that's what some folks say. This is another gift I got from my father. Ocean Pines has afforded me many opportunities to exercise this gift. The Pine Tones Chorus, the Ocean Pines Players, the local vocals, cantering at St. Paul's by the Sea in Ocean City, karaoke night at the Corner. Perhaps the most impactful is being asked to perform the last full measure of devotion at the last two Memorial Day ceremonies. I can't describe what an honor that was. This whole setup is to tell you that if you vote for me to remain on the OPA Board of Directors, the best is yet to come. I will end on that note. Thank you and have a great summer.
Thank you, candidates. I want to thank you on behalf of every homeowner in the Pines for your willingness to serve, your willingness to challenge the status quo. And I issue a call now. We will be in a very short period of time taking applications for the next election. We appeal to anyone who has strong feelings and ideas to share with the board to consider running for the board next year. We're full up this year. Ballots are being printed, but for next year. And for those of you out there who may be listening in but haven't voted before, vote, vote, vote. You can't claim your voice isn't heard if you don't speak up. So with that, I'd like to share some important dates. All this is planned. Remember, life does happen and intervene, but ballots are planned to be mailed and emailed on June 22nd. Please note, the laws of physics in the U.S. Postal Service means your electronic ballot will get to you before your paper ballot. Either one will work. Ballots are due. Balloting stops. I don't know how else to say it, except that it's August 5th, Wednesday at noon. No ballots received in the drop box will be accepted after that. The box will be cleaned out, and after that, I'm sorry. So with that, vote tallying is observable. We will send out a press release with a link that tells you how to watch. I will forewarn you, it is 6 hours of watching people open envelopes for the most part. The important stuff comes when they tell us the results. And that's, I can't tell you what time that'll be. It'll be when they're done, but it's sometime late afternoon typically. The Elections Committee is here. If you do not get a ballot and you think you're entitled to one, please contact us at elections@oceanpines.org, or you can call our voicemail and forgive me, I don't have that number memorized, but it is on the website. We will need to know your name and your Ocean Pines address, and then we can check the eligible list. If you receive a letter that says you're not eligible to vote, that means that either your dues aren't fully paid or you have some kind of CPI violation or other outstanding event. You can rectify either of those. There is a grace period to rectify those with the Ocean Pines admin. And when that happens, we will send you a ballot. So as always, questions, don't hesitate to ask us. I want to thank again the committee, the elections committee, all of you. This forum doesn't happen without at least 5 people. And I would say the 6th, although not a member of our committee, our liaison, Jeff Hevner, has facilitated every request we've made. We've put in a new communications plan to get the word out. So please don't hesitate to use us if we can answer questions. That's what we're here for. And with that, Cheryl, yes? I'm sure you couldn't hear her, but my committee member, Cheryl Jacobs, rightly points out we can't make the election official until the annual meeting, which is Saturday, August 8th. So we will present our results there, and we cannot ratify the election without meeting a quorum of 100 people. So please show up, check in, let us hit that 100-member mark so we don't have to have a separate meeting to do that. And also, that is the open forum for any, assuming we get a quorum, that's an open forum for any issues that you feel you want addressed. So again, thank you all for coming. Thank you all on the internet for participating and listening.